Greetings, ATAS fam. Join us for a YouTube live stream on the ATAS channel. Today, our invited guest, co-founder of Bajko Trading School and official partner of ATAS, Yuri, will be hosting the webinar and introduces us to a very interesting topic, how to analyze coins in ATAS to make a profit. As usually, we will conclude with a review of trading examples, answers to your questions, and we also post a link to download a free book called 5 Key Steps to Successful Active Trading. Also, we would like to remind you that you can practice a new strategy on the ATAS platform for free. Download the platform using the link provided in the description if you haven't installed it yet. And last but not least, we stream in full HD from now on. So let's get started.
Okay, welcome. Welcome, dear ATAS team. I'm so happy to see all of you here. Today's topic would be really interesting, how to analyze the market, prepare to a trading session. We will do from A to Z analysis because many of people, you saw quite a lot of indicators, volume, delta, clusters, volume profile, but how to combine them together, how to use, which one you should use for a start. That's really important topic. That's why what we will do today, I will break down my AZ approach from prepare to a trading session to execute trades and how to, after that, analyze a statistic and make yourself better. It would be really interesting one. Doesn't matter if you are looking at this one during this live session or you watch a record within several months, still it would be super useful for you. That's why watch this live till the end. At this moment, share with me in the comments about audio quality and about video quality. From 1 to 10, as always, please share with me from 1 to 10 about audio and video quality to understand that everything is good. Okay, I see that people are coming. Good. And also, friends, we have a tradition during our live sessions with ATAS to share where you're from what place on our beautiful planet you are looking for. Share also your city and audio video quality. Okay, everything, I see that everything is good. Also, I would send a message to my team that yes, we have started. Okay, good. 10, 10, 10. Share with me at this moment from India. Friends, share with me at this moment in the comments how many of you had problems when you started analyzing some instruments, for example, cumulative delta, open interest, volume profile. You had a problem to combine it together because you see that some YouTuber like me share with you situations when it played out quite well, but how to repeat, how to do the same stuff. How many of you had such problem, especially when you were a beginner? Major idea of the stream to put together all that knowledge that you get by working with ATAS and many other instruments that we have inside in ATAS. That's why today we will cover what would be exactly masterclass plan, what instruments do I trade and why, my setups, indicators that I use to find my setups, volume profile levels, delta, open interest, volume VWAP, how we set up others, how do I execute trade, and statistics. That would be our agenda for today. That's why it would be quite a lot of information. Let's start from the first one. What instruments do I trade and why? In front of your eyes, instruments that I trade, guess what's the reason why I trade them? How many of you understand why I trade only this? I trade less instruments, especially during last months. What your thoughts, friends? Share with me at this moment because I would like to have this chat as a communication between us. Okay, while all of you reply to me, I would like to tell you a really simple reason. I trade only coins with big liquidity because at this moment you can see a screenshot. Bitcoin futures on top exchanges as Binance and Bybit together, 32 billions. Ethereum, 21 billions. It is volume per 24 hours. Solana, 4.5 billions. Dogecoin and BNB, nearly 1 billion. Quite often they are more than 1 billion. Why for me it's super important? Because when instrument have a lot of volume, it respect volume analysis way better. Because on Bitcoin, you should understand if here a volume 32 billions, to manipulate some volume, it's really hard. And when you see big volume spike, big point of control, etc., you will see how price really analyze it. That's why everything starts when you do analysis. Everything starts from understanding what instruments you would like to trade and what exactly you would like to trade, your setups. That's why let's cover my two major setups that I would like to trade. Here I did this painting. I'm not the best painter. Friends, from 1 to 10, how this stuff is understandable for you, why we trade only this instrument, share with me. About my setups, why at this moment I share with you my setups, because you should understand. First, you understand what exactly you trade. And after that, you need to understand what you're looking for. And based on my experience, I trade really simple things. It is a liquidity hunt when we have some traps at high of a range, or traps or stop loss hunt. Both of stuff I like. Or price broke from some value and we have retest and price retest POC of a range or value area low with significant also stop loss hunt or traps here. That's the first stuff. And second stuff, it is breakout from value when price create beautiful value, volume profile, and we break it with rise of open interest. Or price already broke it and we are looking for entries for continue of a trend. That's basically two stuff that I trade and I am looking for. At this moment, I will explain to you how all of these indicators help me understand that my situation is a present and how exactly what I look exactly for. Right, plus if at this moment everything is clear for you into a chat. Write plus into a chat that everything is clear for you and support me with your like. I would be really thankful, my friend. Okay, about volume profile, that's basically the stuff. Volume profile. Why volume profile is super important for me? Because volume profile gives to me understanding of really powerful areas where I would like to trade. First, volume profile, we have value area. Those of you who saw any lessons about volume profile, you understand that we have value area, we have value area low, we have POC, and especially during a range market, I use volume profile as value area low, value area high as the best areas to consider taking a trades. Especially if I look for trades like this one, fake outs from value. Logic here is super simple. I wait while some clear value establish, and if price reach value area high or value area low, here we would look for entries inside into this range for continue of this range. And also breakout from value. In also these cases, we look for value, and after that, if price squeeze into high or low of value with rise of open interest, we look for breakout. I will show to you quite a lot of examples to each of this part and each of this stuff. That's why volume profile. Second stuff, it is levels. I know that this stuff is an old tool from technical analysis, but levels also important. How many of you understand why levels is important for us? Within a few minutes, we will put all of this stuff together. At this moment, we will cover each of these indicators, and after that, put all of them together. Folks, friends, why do you think levels important for us? Answer is super simple. Levels, it is the places where quite a lot of people would hide their stop losses, because that's how most of beginners were taught. Because even this one, even this range, you can see at this moment that where most of the people would hide stop losses, like short sellers of this range. Of course, nearly range high. Even here, like it is area of liquidity. And that's why levels, it is a place, I would say it is a place of interest. And I like to see some significant volume spike, delta, traps at levels. The next part, it is a delta. This indicator I use to see clearly where some liquidation happened or trap happened. Within few minutes, I will put all of this stuff together. We will open BTC chart and I will show to you by using delta to see where some big volume, where some liquidation occurred or someone got trapped, and how to use this stuff to make money. Like delta for liquidation, traps, or aggressive imbalance. The next one, it is open interest. I really like open interest because compared to many other futures market, difference between, for example, ES, S&P 500 futures or NASDAQ futures, on crypto, we have open interest. How many of you write plus into the chat if you know what's open interest? Write minus if you don't know what's open interest. Why it is super big advantage compared to all of us, compared to many other markets. Why it's super big advantage? Because once more, open interest show to us where people open trades and people close trades. And beauty of futures markets that all data is centralized. And why the data is it means that we can see clearly by using additionally delta, where people got liquidated, where people get trapped. And based on that, we can use additional indicators. We can use that as a strategy. And the additional part, it is a volume. We have vertical volume and volume profile. What's the difference between vertical and volume profile? Volume shows you clear what's going on inside some candle. Volume can show to you in which candle biggest amount of contracts were traded. Why does this stuff matter? Because you often would see after significant volume spike, price reversal, price stop. Like volume, it is a force that moves the price or stop it. That's why volume also for us would be super important. And additional one, it is VWAP. And the last one, VWAP. VWAP, share again for me in the chat if you know what's VWAP. Write minus if you don't know what's VWAP. VWAP, my friends, it is a beautiful tool for a trend market. VWAP, it is a trending indicator. When you understand that you are in a trend, VWAP clearly can show to you biggest volume distribution. Hell the cat, you don't know. Once more, VWAP, it is a dynamic volume profile. Look at this volume profile. Volume profile shows to you statically, it is a static value. What this means, it shows to you at each level how many contracts were traded. And in the future, when a lot of contracts traded at some level, you would see how price bounce from it, reverse, or range at that level. Depends on the situation, depends on the context. Difference, VWAP, difference compared to volume profile, that it just follows the price and it shows dynamic change. Like at this moment, VWAP, it is average traded price. Here it is a deviations, like second deviation often works as a powerful support resistance. VWAP is a good stuff for a trend market. Okay, let me explain to you for all of this stuff. Let me explain to you in ATAS how I use all of these indicators together. It is really simple, my friends. As I told you, I trade really basic stuff. For example, I use volume profile and see that price, for example, reached to some key level. And here at value area high, I would look for some significant volume spike, for some significant delta to see that someone got trapped here or someone got liquidated here, because often price would bounce from that liquidity. Let me show to you even like few examples how it works. Even here on BTC, like BTC at this moment. Look at this. I remember at this moment when with my team, what we did, we traded here breakout, because what price did here, if you start building a volume profile, you would see quite beautiful value that accumulated here. And when price squeeze into value low with rise of open interest, this stuff often ends up as breakout from value. That's example for you how I combine all of this indicator together. When at proper place, I see significant open interest, like for breakout from value, what I need, once more, let me summarize. To trade breakout from value, I need value, price squeeze into value area low or value area high, open interest increase, and it is better than volume increase. That's for me a signal to take a trade. To take a trade. Like at this moment, here it is an example for you. When here I took a trade for short. I took a trade for short into this beautiful liquidation. It just was beautiful, perfect. After that, example for you, when you can take a short entry after significant liquidation. How many of you understand that this stuff, it is a liquidation? Friends, share with me at this moment in the chat how many, do you know how liquidation looks like on a chart? Write plus if you know, write minus if you don't know. K-Nel Luna plus. Minus. This moment you can see in front of your eyes, it is a liquidation. That's example how liquidation looks like. Once more, we always will come back to patterns that I trade, because to understand patterns, you should understand all of this simple logic. I trade, for example, here you have value. If price goes out from value and here you face liquidation or a trap, it is a signal to take trade back opposite into value. And that's example for you when ATAS can shows to you that with bigger chance price would come back, because when price break value, open interest should continue rising. Only in that case, drop would continue. But in this case, you can see big liquidation happened. Why? This stuff, it is a liquidation, because you can see by delta and open interest. If delta went negative and open interest drops, it means some people got liquidated, and often it would be a really beautiful bottom for a market. And here it would be a really beautiful place to consider taking long or even local long, depends on the situation. What also additionally I do, like as you can see, I have all of these indicators. What I do after that, in ATAS, we have alerts, because some of you sometimes can miss good opportunities, and because this stuff can happen really fast, like you would have 30 minutes, 40 minutes. What I do in ATAS, I use alerts. Beauty, ATAS alerts, they automatically you can use them in Telegram bot. It's really really powerful tool. Example for you, at this moment I have this delta, and what I did in ATAS, I set this alerts. You can see at this moment delta. I set alert 1000 and minus 2000. And what this stuff means, when ATAS delta would become negative, I would receive notification into my Telegram bot. And why is this stuff super useful? Because I immediately can see that some significant volume were traded, and I immediately open that instrument and can take a trade. That's why it's I allow ATAS. Also, the same stuff you can do with open interest. You also can set alert on Bitcoin and many other coins. And here, Bitcoin and many other coins, and you also here can take a really beautiful trade. You can get a notification. At this moment, as you can see, I receive notification about Ethereum, Solana, Ethereum. It is a coin that I personally trade, only this top coins. I don't trade a lot of coins, like 100 coins. Honestly, less is better. That's why. How exactly I execute and take trades? Everything starts in the morning. In the morning, I build a plan. What I do, I open my platform. And after that, I start with bigger time frame, for example, like with ATAS. What I do, I open for a start daily time frame to understand what's going on. I open this one and understand, for example, we reach quite significant key area. What after that I do, I write to myself important areas. Here at this important area, we can set alert. What beauty of ATAS, you also can set alert on the level. You can see this stuff appeared like this one. I would show to you how exactly it would work, like exactly here when price closes. You can see at this moment what we do. Within a few seconds, we should receive a notification about alert from this level. I set alerts on the levels. After that, what I do, I look for patterns that I would like to trade, because for breakout from value, we need value. I think it's obvious. And to take breakout from value, we need like this one, beautiful volume profile, while price in a range for at least several days. And only after that, I can use that value as a powerful support resistance. Like this example, let me show to you example exactly here. What I would do, like day starts. Here, I start building volume profile to understand what's going on at this moment. And here, I think you can see it is clearly that this beautiful POC of this range became really powerful resistance. After that, I go to a smaller time frame. After that, I go to like 4-hour time frame to understand what exactly going on. Here, I would make this volume profile a little bit bigger to understand what's going on. You can see at this moment how exactly POC played out as a powerful resistance in this volume profile. After that, I would build from this swing high VWAP to understand what's going on with the current trend. And at this moment, as you can see, we have confirmation from a trend. And after that, you simply would wait. If price retests VWAP with volume spike, here I would take short trade. To do it, I simply can set alert. If I am at computer, I can set alert. Here, example for you, alert with a level. And when price reaches that level, I would execute a trade. That's example for you for fake out trades or bounce from POC. Remember, as I showed to you, we have what we do. We build a plan, set alert, and after that we wait for setup. What biggest problem of most of the people that many of you take trades when you don't have exactly a pattern appeared. How many of you, friends, tell me please, how many of you took a trade without clear precondition to that trade? Write plus into a chat if you ever took a trade without clear preconditions. Main problem of beginners that I analyze in our school, most of beginners, they don't follow their plans exactly. And that's the reason why most of the people fails. That's why when you understand what you're looking for, as I shared with you, example for you, my setups, my setup one, for example, I have POC. What I do after that, as I told you, I have POC, for example, offer range. What I do, I set up alert or the limit order, depends if you wish to take a trade with limit orders, you can set limit order. And after that, simply wait while price reach this area and to execute a trade. That's example for you for a fake out pattern. Another example, imagine a situation, for example, like here. Imagine a situation, this one. Let's analyze this part together with you. This just example for you. Imagine a situation that we start a trading day. We start a trading day when our instrument is here at POC. Like you can see that price created quite clear and beautiful value. Right plus, if you agree with me, that it is quite beautiful value. And what exactly happened here? Let's analyze this very moment. And let's make open interest, not by bar, by cumulative. And what I do, as I told you, I have a simple pattern, fake out. Fake out could be with a trap or liquidation. And the same stuff works for short, like price come here and this breakout is a fake. And what I do when I start my trading day, I open bigger time frame, analyze this volume profile, combine it together because price were in this range. After that, I understand that below this value area, for me, it would be really interesting to take trades. And that's the reason why I use all of this stuff together, because volume profile provides to me clear understanding where biggest volume traded. Plus levels. Example for you, how I use levels. Levels gave me understanding that quite a lot of people would be super happy to hide their stop losses nearly these levels. Do you agree with me that a lot of people that build long positions in the middle of this range, they will hide their stop losses exactly here? How many of you agree with me? Right plus if you agree, minus if you don't agree. What price did? Grabbed their liquidity, trapped people, additional people that tried to take short and went opposite. That's example for you how market maker build a liquidity. And what after that, if price reach this area, what I do exactly, how exactly everything will looks like. I would go deeper into 30-minute time frame. Let me open for you this area. And I would go deeply into 30-minute time frame to see what exactly price action was there. And at this moment, what we can see, that's example. As I told you, imagine situation, we started a day here. And what we do, we simply build a plan. If this day started, what we do, here at high, I would look for some fake out into short. Here at low, I would look fake out into long. And only after some range and squeezing, I can look for breakout from value. And have a look what Bitcoin exactly did it. Here, into this low, quite significant rise of open interest. Do you know what this stuff means? Super beautiful negative delta and rise of open interest into this low, exactly with taking low. Friends, let's be active with me. Tell me what this stuff means. Your thoughts, what this stuff means. This stuff means really simple stuff. Short sellers, new shorts, awesome. Yes, new shorts That's a reason why I like futures as on crypto market, because they provide you open interest and you can understand the short as a opening a trade or closing a trade. And at this moment, you can see those short sellers opened new shorts, and in some cases, there would be breakout from value. But this time, what they did, when price did exactly this first move, it was obvious that all people that tried to take short, they were underwater. Do you agree with me? When Bitcoin price were, for example, here, all people that tried to short here, they were underwater. And by using all of this stuff, you have really simple logic. Okay, stop losses of people that took long here, taken when price took this low. Some people try to short breakdown, but they failed. What market maker would need to do after? Your thoughts, David. David MH, guys. What's your thought? What market maker must do after? If market maker used a liquidity of trap short sellers, in most cases, they would go after their stop losses. In most cases, and their stop losses, I think it's obvious, their stop losses in one of these areas. Yes, squeeze. Yeah. And have a look. They did this rise until biggest and significant volume spike. What they did, they trapped short sellers, and after that, they went opposite to take their stop losses. Like all of this stuff, when we trade futures market, we should understand that who will pay for our move. It's like example for you. If some of you played out a poker, how many of you played out a poker? How many of you played out a poker? Tell me, please, guys. When professionals play poker, they have a quote: "If you don't know who is the fool on the table, that means you are a fool." You should understand one important stuff: that trading, it is one big poker table, because trading futures market, it is money does not create from nowhere. It moves from one hand to another. Same as a poker. If some player have more money, it means it took those money from other people. And in trading, the really important questions that you always must ask yourself: who will pay for you? With who you would make money? Because in trading, you can make money only with someone big by following them, only by someone's liquidation, or by seeing that someone get trapped and you go with market makers to take their stop losses. In other cases, you won't be able to make money. In all these cases, you must follow big guy, or you go to take liquidation. Why you don't use net longs, net shorts instead of just open interest? Because I didn't find useful from that indicator. I saw many times how that indicator trapped. Okay, let's come back. Let's come back, my friends. That's why here I think it's obvious when I do a plan. That's once more. Everything start in the morning from build a plan. We build a plan only because we understand what we are looking for. You won't be able to build a plan if you don't have a clear setup, if you don't have a clear patterns that you trade. When you have clear patterns, You simply, when you have clear patterns, you simply understand what you're looking for. Okay. After that, when you have clear patterns that you trade, for example, you have value and you understand. If price reach to value area low, here you can take fake out, depends on a precondition, or you would trade breakout from value. But what's the difference between breakout from value and fake out? How many of you understand what can be potentially the difference? Honestly, breakout from value, it is a really difficult stuff. Why? Because major problem with breakout from value, it is you need to understand the difference between potential fake out and breakout. Again, everything's before you build a plan, you have a strategy, you have patterns. I won't be able to dive super deeply into these patterns. After that, you set alert. Example for you with this example on BTC. What I do here, I set up alert because I have clear value and I understand that here would be or breakout or fake out. In most cases, what would be the difference between breakout and fake out? Breakout happens when price squeeze and volatility drops with rise of open interest. That's how breakout happens mostly. Even this example, when here, by the way, I took beautiful breakdown from value. I had a really beautiful short trade here. What was the major reason? Because you can see price create beautiful value. And here for me, it was obvious that this rise, it was stop loss hunt. And after that, my major goal was to take stop losses of all people that got trapped here. Sometimes open interest can be trapped, for example, like this one. Open interest tried to push Bitcoin up, but they failed. And by this significant volume spike, what they did this first drop. Often, drop would continue until some significant liquidation occurs. And that's what exactly happened with BTC. Squeezing with rise of open interest often is a signal for breakout from value. If there is no squeezing, often there would be no breakout. If price, like this one, create against local value, they created local value, bounced from POC. POC played out as a local resistance. And when price come to this value area low, for me, it would be really obvious that if they squeeze with rise of open interest, yeah, there could be with bigger chance breakdown. Do you know where we can get an amazing ATAS template like yours right now instead of just using the default ATAS template? Nick, we will prepare to all people on this stream my template with PDF about my trading strategy. It will be at the end of the stream. We will share in a chat link to download it. I will share my template and PDF of my trading strategy. Okay, come back to this one. Build a plan starts with understanding what you trade. I have clear understanding what I trade. If you don't have clear understanding, you need to study, my friends. You need to start with beginning. After that, set alert. As you can see, my system of alerts really simple. I have two types of alerts. First one based on indicators. It is like this one. Open interest change, volume change, delta change. In ATAS, what's beautiful, you can set up so many alerts in ATAS on any stuff that you desire. Because you can set up, let me show to you a few examples, what type of alerts you can set up in ATAS. First, you can set up alert on change in open interest. Like I set up by bar here, you can get alert by open interest. Second, you can get alert by delta change. Again, you can get alert by volume change. You can see here, volume on a chart. volume change. Also, you can set up indicator, you can set up a cluster search. For example, it is really powerful tool that can search for you where significant volume traded. Example, how it looks like, cluster search. Like at this moment, let's set up 5,000. This indicator looks to me where significant volume were traded. That's, by the way, reason why ATAS is better compared to many other platforms, because you can analyze exactly where biggest amount of contracts traded. Like at this moment, have a look. It can send to me notification when biggest amount of contracts traded together. And also you can set up alerts on the levels, like at this moment that I shared with you. You can set up alert on VWAP. As you wish, you can set up alert. For me, the most important, it is volume, open interest, delta, and levels. After that, you need to wait for that setup, because most of the people, well, especially most of the beginners, have really one big problem. Because of not understanding what you are looking for, you just open a platform and you see that, oh, there's some move and happens, why I didn't take that move. But in reality, you wouldn't take it because you didn't have clear pattern according to your strategy. Because how you would build a statistic if you don't know what exactly you are looking for? And after that, when your pattern appeared, you must execute. And the last part, it is analyze a trade. That's why, once more, let me summarize to all of you how all of the stuff would look like. I wake up. After that, I open my platform. I analyze my top instruments because they have biggest volume: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, sometimes BNB, because it is on a crypto market. If you trade, for example, ES futures or other futures, you do with your instrument. After that, what I do, I look for some value, because in most cases, I would look for fake out from value or breakout from value. That means in each case, I will need value. After that, I look for important key levels from which price bounced, and I set alerts at those levels, because there could be some significant liquidation or trap. Because in the end, I would trade only fake out from value or breakout from value. I set alert. When all those trades appears, I execute them. I would like to show you a few examples. And after that, the most important part, and then for you, it would be super important to analyze a statistic. At this moment, I share with you my statistic service that I use. There are quite a lot of different statistic services where you can see exactly how you took a trade, what was the reason behind those trade, and how exactly you can, what you can do exactly in the future to do better with your trade. That end process. After that, here it is in my native language, it is in Ukrainian language. For example, here I took a trade, a long breakout on BTC, because BTC created this local value. BTC created here this local value, and price started squeezing with rise of open interest. And as you can see, let me open ATAS platform and show to you where exactly it was. The trade, it was exactly here. Let me show to you. It was exactly this local value. And what price did of BTC? Here, you can see price of BTC reached this value area high. You can see that price of BTC reached this value area high. I think it's clear for us. What happened exactly here? This breakout happened with rise of open interest and price fix out from value. And after that, when price again, as you can see, we were at value area high, it was exactly a moment when I took a trade. And again, what happened? Do you see, my friends? Write plus if all of you can see this one. Rise of open interest, positive delta, volume spike. What this stuff means for me? This stuff means for me breakout from value, because once more, breakout from value in most cases happens after price reaches that value first time. In most cases, first time would be trap, and if they come and try to do breakout second time, in that case, breakout would be real. And how I understand that it could be real? Super simple, because I open my statistics service, and after analyzing a lot of trades, I understood that this stuff really works well. And based on that, I can add this pattern into my library and trade it in the future. Okay, at this moment, friends, share with me into a chat from 1 to 10 how this stuff was really useful for you. From 1 to 10 about how it's useful. If there is a divergence between spot and perps, yes, sometimes divergence can appear. Honestly, I use perps because on the futures market, you have really way more volume. For me, perps, what I understood after analyzing especially Bitcoin crypto market for many years, perps is enough for me, because market makers that make money on perps and many other instruments. On spot were really powerful few years ago when you saw some significant volume on spot, really big movement happened. But at this moment, volume ratio on BTC to perps may be 1 to 10. That's why it's really wise to analyze perps. It's wise to analyze perps, my friends. Okay, let's come back to our presentation. And once more, as you can see, this stuff, you should always remember this stuff. If you want to make successful trades, avoid mistakes, because most of the beginners, I understand, you have it's difficult to combine all that knowledge together. First, build a plan. But to build a plan, you need to have once more strategy. If you don't know what you trade, what's your setup, what's your edge, you won't be able to build a plan. That's why for that stuff, you need help. You need some people that will guide you. You can join my education, or you can find any other education programs where people show you clear setups. Because what's main idea? You need to take setups of some people to build experience, and after that you will update. Because I also started learning others people's setups many years ago, and it involved, because I use their setups as a foundation to my own. When you understand what you are looking for, you set alerts. Beauty of alerts that you don't need to trade 24/7, wait for while some stuff appears. You will get notified. What's really important stuff that you reduce human errors in your trading, because human factor in trading quite difficult, because often people take trade where there is no any setup. Sometimes there could be a situation, example like yesterday, Bitcoin execute my patterns that I trade in the morning, Ethereum execute patterns that I do in the evening, and I was out of trade on Monday. And sometimes you can be emotionally down because you missed opportunities, but you need to learn how it must be okay for you that you didn't take a trade if there is nothing according to your strategy. Because believe me, better to be out of really bad trade than trade some not good stuff. You wait for your setup because you have alert, you just wait, you do your own stuff, you study, you create video like I do. When your setup appears, you must execute. Because problem that sometimes you hesitate, something like that. What stuff will help you execute better? It is your statistic. How many of you have statistic? Write plus into it this moment that you journal your trades. You can use any journal, it doesn't matter which one, but the most important, how many of you journal your trades? Write plus into a chat and minus. At this moment, just by answering to this question, you will understand really important stuff. Answer honestly into a chat. Do you have journal and you work with the journal or not? Based on my experience, yes, plus. Cool. Nina, tell me please, is it easier to execute your trades when you analyze statistic and you understand that your pattern really works and you simply follow your patterns? Tell me, is it easier when you analyze statistic and you take your trade? Because, for example, another trade that I took here on BTC, I like to trade trap traders like at this moment by open interest. And when I analyze my statistic and I understand that many times after taking trade, like at this moment, you can see by this open interest, have a look. Let me show to you example of my trade that I took. It is based on a trap traders. It is one of my favorite strategy. Price did quite significant rise and open interest started entering with positive delta. But what price did? Do you see? Quite significant rise in open interest. And what price did? Yes, nothing. No continue. When open interest entering, continue must happen. And when I saw this local SVP, that was a moment when I took a trade into stop losses of all of these trapped traders that took a trade exactly here and here. And when I analyze my statistic, and after my statistic, I can see many times that this pattern really works well. Of course, for me, it would be super easy to execute because I understand it works. It's not something part of my imagination. That's why, once more, you can make a screenshot at this moment. Highly recommend you to do a screenshot. Build a plan, set alert, wait for setup, execute, analyze the trade. And after that, restart with new experience. Because here, after analyzing a trade, you can maybe update your pattern. Yeah, of course, it's much easier to see what is working and what is not by just analyzing your trades. And Nina, imagine you will have, for example, few hundred trades. For example, you will have 500, 1,000 trades. And based on that experience, for you, it would be way easier to understand what works, what doesn't work. Because example for you, when I analyze a trade, for me, is the most important to understand my mistake. Because sometimes I do some mistake, like at this moment with, you can see long on Ethereum, what I did. Like this, long on Ethereum, what I did. Price reached, again, value area low. You can see this value area low. Here I executed long, but because of my mistake, I close it. And what was the reason why I decided to take a trade? Price were at this higher value area low, below it. And here, what was beautiful at that time? Let me show to you that Ethereum exact chart. It was exactly this Ethereum moment. quite significant negative delta appeared with big volume spike. It is finished auction. And what here appeared, what was the reason why I took a trade? Because here price created this local value. And here by this local value, I understood that after significant liquidation, to create additional move, it happens really rarely on Ethereum. And when I saw that price several times failed to break through, come back, it was exactly a moment when we took this long trade. Let me show to you on a bigger time frame exactly what was here. That's the example how for you all this stuff works. You can see on a bigger time frame, it was exactly this low of value, exactly low of value. Price drop into value area low, and here there were quite significant volume spike into low, and price took this level and start building local value area. In most cases, they would do exactly opposite move, the same as they did exactly here. Pay attention. After significant delta spike, volume spike, quite significant liquidation, what they did exactly opposite move, because after liquidation, price rarely continue move. But how I understood this stuff? I understood this stuff not because I found that secret knowledge somewhere. I did it only because after taking a trade, I simply analyze what played out, what didn't play out, and what mistakes I did. That's why once more, build a plan, set alert, wait for setup, execute. And this part, super important. Many beginners don't understand how it's really important. Okay, my dear. Rate at this moment from 1 to 10, how all of this knowledge how useful this stuff was for you. How can I find a pencil marker in drawing object on ATAS? Pencil in ATAS. Honestly, I didn't use pencil in ATAS. Drawing objects. Let's open drawing objects. Pencil. First, you open all these instruments, drawing objects. Yes, we have it, all of them. Rule. I didn't find it, honestly. There isn't pencil, any pencil tool. Okay, friends, at this moment, it is the time for your questions. Once more, it is the time for your questions. Everything is super simple. You understand what you trade, you set up others, you wait for it, you execute. To execute, you need a statistic because your mind will trust you only when you understand that, for example, you took 50 trades, 25 of them played out. Of course, your mind and your subconscious mind would trust you because you would see that what you do really works. Remember that our subconscious mind designed to protect us from any stress. And when you take trades and they doesn't work, and you don't understand why they doesn't work, your subconscious mind try to protect you that you don't need to do it because you harm yourself. Be honest, you feel stress when price is not moving into your favor. And for subconscious mind, it's like maybe you try to get out from wolves because maybe your life are under attack, something like that. What is the most efficient time for scalping? The best one, start of your New York session. Let's do additional 2 questions and finish this, my dear ATAS team. We are finished. Friends, be till then, because there would be at this moment special bonus from me and my team. Remember that we are partners with ATAS. I have my own company, Biko Trading Academy.
Okay, Yuri, thank you for the webinar. As usually, it was very, very useful, especially the preparation of the trading day. You can also get a free book from our partner Yuri, Step-by-Step Order Flow Strategy. Download the free PDF book here. I'm just going to paste the link to the chat. There we go. And you can also watch more videos from Yuri. This is the link to the playlist on the order flow strategy of Yuri by Byco Trading. I'm also pasting the link to the chat.
Yeah, friends, everything we sent into a chat at this moment, PDF, there would be PDF about my patterns that I trade setups and template. Remember, use my setups as foundation to yours, because you must understand the logic. Market is not something like, you need to understand the reason why you would make money. It's the same with poker. You need to understand from who you would take money or with who you will make money. Because you can make money only by following someone or by taking it from someone.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Dear ATAS team.
Thank you, Yuri.
Happy to see all of you here. Bye. Bye, Paul.
Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe to be able to join us next time.
Bye, friends.
Give thumbs up if you like our webinars. We will see you next time at our ATAS channel. Bye-bye.